If you have older kids or a pet and you're bringing a new baby home, keeping your baby safe is actually not such an easy thing. The tendency is in this situation to leave your baby for long periods of time in things like the high chair or a bouncy seat because you want to keep track of her, you want to make sure she's set apart and she's safe. Meanwhile, after a certain point, it's very beneficial for the baby to spend a lot of time rolling around on the floor, getting strong, starting to push herself up. So the question is, what do you do with your baby, during these key times to make sure she's getting strong, she's getting the movement and the mobility that she needs while keeping her safe? Okay, so number one, there's a whole debate out there about the crib. Many people think that the crib should just purely be the place for sleep. So if you're having sleep issues with your baby, check with your doctor and talk to some friends and see what they advise. But for me, fortunately, these are not issues that I've had. And I will confess that one thing I do, especially in the morning, is I do put my baby back in the crib. So when I wake up, the first thing I do is first I have some coffee and then I nurse my baby. I burp her, and I actually put her in the crib with some safe toys, soft books and safe toys. Then I shower, I get my other kids up, I start to get them breakfast. This is the only option for me because I can't have her rolling around on the floor, rolling around on the bathroom floor when I'm in the shower. I have to sort of know where she is. So this goes in the it ain't perfect, but it works for me category. You should definitely check with your doctor, but this is one of the things that I've learned to do. Another thing about keeping your baby safe, which I think is important, this does not apply so much to the pets, it more applies to the older children. Teach your children from day one what they can do with your baby. We have a rule in my house, which is you can only touch her toes. It doesn't mean that that always happens, and there's a lot of touching the face and hugging and squishing and things like that going on, but the general rule of thumb, especially with a very young baby, is you can only touch the baby on her toes because kids don't know their own strength. So you have to get them into the habit of being very, very gentle, and you want to try to prevent the sort of squeezing and hugging and all the other things, hair pulling, that can happen when they don't really mean to. So you can only touch the child on their toes. I actually really heavily rely on the pack and play. I have a pack and play in one of my child's bedrooms where my kids play a lot. I have a lot of safe toys in there, and I put the baby in there. Now, you have to be careful with this too, because you have to make sure that your children aren't throwing things into the pack and play, like a blanket or a big, squishy, big animal. I would not do this if my baby has not already got the strength to hold her neck up and if there's any concern with that. And again, check with your doctor and make sure that you have an eye on what's going on and you know that what's going on is safe. But this is a good alternative because the baby will have some mobility in the pack and play. She'll be able to start picking herself up, sitting up, doing things like that. Now, pack and plays also are very controversial. I once heard a mother say, if you're going to put your child in a pack and play, why have a child? To which I say, because I don't want my child to be stampeded by my other children. So we all have our own reality, and you have to keep this in mind. But I do heavily rely on the pack and play, okay? Let me see what else I have down here. Okay. Just like you're going to keep track of when your baby feeds and when your baby sleeps, the way in which your baby moves is something that you'll learn to keep track of. Again, you don't want to be days and days, all day on end, if you live in the city, for example, just rolling your baby around in the stroller, then taking her home, then putting her in the high chair, then putting her down in the crib. No, she needs to get that exercise. She needs to start to learn how to move. She needs to start to feel herself. At the beginning, she needs tummy time. Then she'll start to roll. Then she'll start to get the strength to sit up. Then she'll start to crawl. Then she'll start to cruise around. These are all very normal things that you want to encourage during the first year. So try to have a little bit of a sense in your mind, and it can be flexible. You might have a day when she's in the stroller too long, but try to have a sense in your mind as you're walking around with your baby, as you're with your baby at home, of what she's doing, and make sure that she gets the time that she needs on the floor, because this is how she's going to get strong, and this is how she's going to learn how to walk. So I hope these things help you out, and I'll see you next time.